Welcome to An Open Book with Harry Pacheco, where our guests choose to be an open book, sharing real impactful stories that are making a difference. Welcome to the show. Welcome to An Open Book with Harry Pacheco. This is a production from STP and also a partnership with STP as well.
Yes, sir.
Today, I'm so happy that we have a special guest today. Her name is Rachel Wheat. She is the director of Last Call of Grace. We are happy to have you here. For the listeners out here and then also the viewers, tell us, what is the Last Call of Grace ministry?
Sure. So Last Call for Grace is a local nonprofit that exists to serve the homeless and near homeless community in Murfreesboro. And we provide them with hot meals, toiletries, seasonal clothing. And what's a little different about us is that there are several places in Murfreesboro where the homeless can go for meals, but we're the only organization that takes those meals to them and meets them where they are. So we go to the local motels. We have a couple of central locations surrounded by local motels, and we go to the tent cities here in Murfreesboro to provide those services.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
At Bel Air, so I'm actually an employee there, and I went there and I met you, and you were just so, your energy and your spirituality by doing this organization has probably opened my eyes to see that there's good people out there. Tell us about your journey with Last Call of Grace.
So I have been with Last Call for Grace about 2.5, going on 3 years now. And I was a caterer here in Murfreesboro for almost 20 years and had just retired from private catering, decided to take a break from that. And about a week after my official retirement, I got a call from Mike Arnold, who is the board president for Last Call. Wow. And he said, I need a cook, and I need someone that knows how to prep for large groups of people, work in an industrial kitchen. And I said, well, I will come and shadow the current cook and see what I think. I'll pray about it. And so I went and I did, and it was just a really great organization, and I had not heard of them. I had no experience with them, had never volunteered, but it was a skill set that I had that I thought, okay, well, this is a good way that I can still use that skill set for ministry purposes. And so that was important to me to still be able to use that. And I do love to cook. I do really enjoy it. And so I thought this is a way I can use that to serve others. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to take that on, and I cooked for them for about 2 years. And then they asked me to become the director and help with fundraising efforts, volunteer organization, things like that. So stepping into that has been new. I've never worked in the nonprofit world before. So that's been a really interesting experience, but yeah, it's good.
For you to be impacted, for them to be impacted from you for 2 years and then automatically become the director, you must have did a fantastic job in the kitchen with all the volunteers and everybody that is around that organization.
I am so fortunate to be surrounded by wonderful people who, when I took on the position, they said, oh, that's so cool, Ray, we want to be a part of that. And so I had tons of friends that came in and wanted to be involved. And so it almost became like a big work family. Mm-hmm. And through that, we helped raise, more volunteers. And then we did put on our first large fundraiser this past year that was wildly successful. We were so excited about that. God blessed us way beyond measure and beyond what we were expecting. And that has allowed us to do some new things with the ministry that we're really excited about.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but your degree is in something else.
Yes, I have a master's degree in healthcare administration,
Wow.
which is so not what I do.
Yeah.
I did work in that for several years before I had kids. And then when I wanted to stay home with them, I kind of fell into catering accidentally. I had a friend in the business, in the healthcare industry, that was getting married, and she needed a wedding cake and could not find anyone to make it for her for a reasonable price. And so I did.
Right.
And I'd never made a wedding cake before, but what she wanted was so simple. And
Right.
so I knew that I could and made it for her as a wedding gift. And then someone at her wedding had a daughter getting married and asked for a cake, and it turned into wedding cakes, and then from there into full service catering.
Yeah.
And I come from a huge family.
Yeah.
So cooking for large groups of people is not unusual.
When you
to
say
me.
huge family, how many siblings? And
So I had a blended family growing up. I have 6 siblings.
wow.
Yes, there are 7 of us all together, and then a very large extended family that was all nearby. So we
Okay.
were all together for holidays. And
Would you make meals and like the holidays and things of that nature?
yes, if you were a girl in our family, that was
Yeah.
kind of a requirement.
Yeah.
You know, you had to be in the kitchen helping because there were so many of us. You
Yeah.
needed everyone to get it done. So
That's awesome.
yeah, my mom was a phenomenal cook. So
Mm-hmm.
she was a great teacher.
And it's great when someone teaches, because my grandma also taught me how to cook, and it's from feel. It's not from a recipe. It's from feel,
Yeah, yeah,
smell, and
Yeah.
the smell. You got to get it right. It's from touch. If it feels if cooked or whatever it is,
Yes.
it's more of that instead of going through a recipe. So
Yeah, no, I do not measure. I do not measure. Baking is a science. Cooking is an art.
yes, absolutely. And then also how cooking comes from love
Yes.
versus looking at a recipe online or something. And
Yes.
so that's awesome. How has it impacted you, like spiritually, working for this organization and this ministry?
Oh my goodness, so many ways. So again, working for a nonprofit, that's a first for me, and I think that spiritually, it really strengthens your prayer life, number one. You learn to be solely dependent on God, because when you are a nonprofit that functions off donations, you really have to wait for His timing and for Him to open those doors. You do your due diligence, but it's really Him that goes before you and opens those doors for you. So just learning dependence and provision, like during the season of my life, like learning about God's provision has been huge. And just the heart that people have for others. It's nice to have a front row seat to that and see. You hear so many negative things, and it's nice to see people that really, truly have a heart for the most vulnerable in your community.
I feel like it uplifts you, and
Yes.
when you talk about it in such a way where when you talk about it, your face lights up. I you have a master's in that degree. I don't think that I'm not saying that you would ever not be successful at that, but
Yeah.
this seems like it's more fulfilling for you.
It definitely is. This is one of those things you never saw yourself doing, but that it has been the best thing for you.
Absolutely.
So,
And
yeah.
that's like putting God in that driver's seat.
Yes.
I know when I start driving and I put God aside, I start taking these unwanted exits. Right? There's some like exits I don't supposed to be. So I
Yeah.
learned in such a young age when I became a Christian, obviously, to put Him in the driver's seat at all times. But obviously, I fall short for God, and I know that. And just it's just a reminder of why He went to the cross. And
Yes.
those are things that I have to carry the cross daily and recognize that.
Yes.
And so, how does somebody volunteer in the organization, in the ministry?
Sure.
If because I want the listeners and I want the viewers to know how do they volunteer?
So the first step would be to go to our website, which is lastcall4grace.org, and there is a volunteer form link, there that you can fill out, and it just asks some basic information, contact information, and then there's a section where you can fill out what you would like to be doing for the organization. In terms of volunteer opportunities, there are quite a few. You can come and volunteer with me in the kitchen at Bel Air. We cook out of Bel Air's kitchen, which is an amazing kitchen to work from. You've seen it. So
It's like a chef kitchen.
yes,
It's like a master
yes,
chef
it is
kitchen.
wonderful, and we are so blessed by that. So people can come and volunteer to cook with me if that's your passion, or we have volunteers that come in and help box up the food. We go out on Tuesday and Friday evenings, and so we meet at Bel Air, box up all of the food that was prepared earlier in the day, and then there are teams that take the food out to the different locations to distribute that and any other offerings that we have. We have someone that brings a message at every location, so that's another volunteer opportunity if you're comfortable in that regard. And it's just a short, 10, 12-minute devotional.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, but it's a really cool chance to just plant those seeds, to offer some hope to those people, and to ask for prayer requests and then
Yeah.
pray with them.
Yeah.
The cool thing is if you go out with them on a Tuesday or a Friday night, you will see that these teams of volunteers, most of them are regulars,
Yeah.
and they know these people. They
Yeah.
know them by name, they know their stories, and those people know that someone cares about them, which I think is huge for that community, because I do think that the homeless community often feels invisible.
Absolutely.
And so we want to combat that too and let them know that they're seen and they're
Yeah.
loved, not just by us, but
Yeah.
by a God that loves them.
What would your specifically your ministry cover? What cities?
Right now, we are currently just in Murfreesboro.
Okay.
We would love to expand that, but in order to do that, we would obviously have to increase funding and increase our volunteer base. And right now, we really could use some Spanish-speaking volunteers. That's a deficit for us in our volunteer base. We would love to have Spanish-speaking volunteers that could also help deliver the message and help translate.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So my other question is, now we're covering the basis of how can I volunteer.
Yes.
Now I want people. This is the big one. I know corporations are probably watching this. A lot of people that own businesses are watching this,
Yeah.
especially that have to do with like food and food intake and things of that nature. How can they donate?
So, if you work for somewhere that has food to donate, the best thing to do would be to contact us via email, and we'll just set up a time to chat about what that looks like, what you have left over. We get donations from Aldi, we get donations from Panera Bread, different church camps when they have food left over. Bel Air donates food when it's left over. But if it's something that's just going to go into the trash, but it's still perfectly good, then we are absolutely willing to take that. We just finished building, you've seen it, our new
Yeah.
refrigerator cooler outside. So now
Huge.
it is huge.
It's
It is
and lack
huge.
for a better term, I'm like, gosh, I've never seen. I was like, what were you trying to put in here? It's like a Costco fridge.
It echoes.
Yeah.
So it's huge. But it will enable us to take larger donations that we've had to turn down in the past just for lack of space
Yeah.
and place to keep them.
So can you tell us this story? This one really, I shared this story with my wife.
Yeah.
That you had to turn down 24
Oh my gosh, yes.
tons, or not tons, pounds
Yes.
of chicken, or
I have a friend who has a friend who drives a refrigerated truck, and he would call her when someone didn't take their order because she just seemed good at finding homes for all of the food that didn't get taken.
Yeah.
And so he called me and said, I have chicken fresh chicken that no one picked up from their order. They ordered
Yeah.
it, didn't take it. And I said, great, we would love to have it. How much chicken is it?
Yeah.
It was 1,400 pounds of chicken. So I couldn't take the chicken, which
Yeah.
was devastating
Yeah.
because that could have fed a lot of people.
Yeah.
So now I can take bring on the 1,400 pounds of chicken.
And guys, what we're talking about is a Costco refrigerator, like not the entire Costco, but when you go get your eggs or your milk or whatever, it's that size.
Yes.
I'm not over
No.
exaggerating. So if you have donations, please feel free.
Yes.
They have the space now.
Yeah. And this is another way that is something where we know that God is really with us in that capacity, because those refrigerator coolers cost tens of thousands of dollars, and
Absolutely.
somebody so generously donated
Yeah.
that to us, and then so much of the building process was donated to us, so it made something that would have been impossible for a small nonprofit possible. But with
That was
God, all things
yep.
are possible. So
That's a
yeah.
beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Is there anything you want to talk about the organization that we left out, as far as um, for the listeners and viewers know about what you guys have in the future and
Yeah.
what to look out for?
So I think one of the biggest things for us right now is, I'm sure everyone has felt the sting of rising food costs, and so have
Absolutely.
we. And I have noticed in the 2.5 years that I have been there, the amount of meals that I prep has almost doubled. So the homeless population is also growing, and there are a lot of different factors that go with that, different things at play. But those people are out there. They're here, and they're in your backyard. I have my oldest son is leaving on a mission trip for Scotland next week, and I'm so excited for him to go on the trip. But if you're unable to take a trip like that right now, if it's just not the season of life, you can't be gone, there is a mission field right here
Yeah.
that you can be a part of. I mean, it is in your backyard,
Yeah.
and you may not see the tent cities here, but they're there. And the
Yeah.
people that are living in these motels, they are there, and
Yeah.
they need help. And for us to do that, we need donations. We need funding. We are completely donor funded. So donations are wonderful. You can do that as a one-time gift.
Yeah.
You can be a monthly sponsor. We would love to have more monthly sponsors.
Uh-huh.
If we have someone that wanted to give $50 a month, $25 a month.
Is that subscription?
Yeah,
Or
well,
could it
you can
be?
sign up on the website. There's a
Okay.
donate now button that lets you choose kind of what venue or which way you'd like to donate. And if you think that your donation wouldn't make a difference, I can tell you that as the person that purchases the food with the donations that we already receive from Aldi and Panera and with Bel Air's help, I'm able to keep it to around $2 a head per meal. So even if you donated $10, that feeds 5 people. So every single donation really makes a difference for us.
Okay. Um, Gosh, this is just a beautiful thing what you guys are doing. It's a beautiful organization. It takes, like I said, a person like you to run this organization. Um, well, there's a thing that we do. We're gonna ask you a few questions.
Sure.
STP Trent here, our producer, asks these questions.
Yeah.
About the last things we do, asking her about her love or
Oh, yeah.
her passions and
Yeah. What are we doing?
it's
Some of the SCP signatures?
yeah, the signatures, the last things we ask
Oh,
are what her passions, loves, and
Well, yeah. The thing with SCP, the tagline's bringing light to what's going right. Obviously, everything you're doing is a great example of that. I guess I always like to know, in your world, what else would you consider going right in the world?
In my world,
Or just things you've seen, things you've been a part of. Obviously, the work you're doing with last call. It's last call for grace.
Yes.
Last call for grace. Textbook example. So I mean that probably takes up quite a bit of your life. But anything else? Anything else that might come to mind that you would consider going right in the world?
I have, in my world personally, I have the most wonderful, loyal, supportive group of friends.
That's awesome.
And yes, and all of the board members and the volunteers at Last Call that have become like family to me.
too many
They are
people to shout out. Is
amazing.
it too many people to shout
Yeah,
out?
I mean, it is. But, I have a set group of volunteers that shows up. My best friend, Kim, I know you're listening.
Yeah.
You better be. So she shows up without fail and brings 3 of her adult children with her.
Kim
Wheeler
Wheeler.
is her last name.
Okay.
Celeste Bivens, who has been like a surrogate parent to me. I adore her. She has come and brought her adult children with her to serve. So it really has become a family affair, and my best friend brings 3 of her adult children with her when she comes. And we were having a discussion one day, and she has one of her sons always asks these very profound questions while we're in there cooking, and everyone kind of chews on them for a minute, and then we'll wind up discussing them for an hour. But he said, "What we just call it coming to kitchen," and he said, "What is kitchen?" And we all thought for a minute. And I said, "What do you mean, kiddo?" And he said, "Is kitchen a noun? Is it a verb?" And I think we all decided that it's a way of life. You know,
That's awesome.
it's really a way of life. It is
Yeah.
what we do, and it's how we nurture and how we show love and how we show God's mercy and love. And so it has been a blessing for all of us as well, just to have that outlet. But I really do. I have the most fiercely loyal, wonderful group of friends and family. I have 3 amazing children that are all doing
You want to
really
shout
well.
them out?
Noah, Finn, Scarlett, you are everything. Mommy loves you. They are perfect, beautiful children. So
I
they're
actually
doing
met
well.
your sous chef. the other
Oh,
day.
yes. Scarlett, my soon-to-be 11-year-old, she's my little sous chef. She comes in with me, and she's
awesome.
wonderful. Yeah, so it's really, Last Call is a family affair. We have homeschool families that come in and serve together. The kids go out with them on Tuesday and Friday nights, so it's perfectly safe. You know, it's you're in a big group, and so it's a great chance for families to serve together. Or we've had a lot of parents bring us children that said, "These kids need to learn, what it's like to do with lessons." So, and those kids have wound up staying. They love it, and they stay and they come back. We have college students. Churches that are involved, Bel Air, obviously, the Experience, New Vision. We have so many partners that are just amazing.
I know he has to finish his list, but something came up.
No, you're good. Go for it, man.
So you talked about Aldi.
Yes.
What was the other ones?
Panera Bread.
Panera Bread. So if there's any other corporations that's out there, please donate.
Yes,
right?
yes, absolutely. Because so many of these places have rules about things, where you can't keep them past a certain time frame, and they just go in the trash.
Okay.
But they're things that we could use. I know my son. I won't name the restaurant, but
did
he.
they sign a release on?
Panera Bread, you go through their corporate offices, and they do
Okay.
what's called donations that you can come and pick up at the end of the night. So it's basically like the baked goods that didn't sell at the end of the night.
So
and
like
then,
Kroger's would be.
And there's a ton of places, like most of the Krogers and the Publix here donate to Second Harvest Food Bank, and they're amazing.
Right.
But, there are other local people as well that we would love to have any runoff from, anything that they have, any extra, because it all helps us. It makes a huge difference for us.
So Kroger's, if you're listening, Publix.
Yeah. Give me all your food.
It's not a tough one. Yeah. That's awesome.
Trent.
Yeah.
What was your second? I know there was like a top the top 5 or.
Yeah, we do something called the Grateful For. 4 things you're most grateful for right now. What would you say?
Oh, 4 things I'm most grateful for right now. Let's see.
Take your time.
I have so many things I'm grateful for right now. I would say knowing Christ
Absolutely.
is my number
Absolutely.
1.
Absolutely.
go.
Because that's going to drive everything. A wildly supportive group of friends and family.
Yes. That's that.
A job that I love.
Amen.
And a church that I feel connected in.
That's awesome. Grateful for.
Yeah. Those
Absolutely.
Those are great. That's a great 4. You could have went more than 4 if you needed to.
Well, I think the friends and family kind of
Yeah,
encompass,
covers
you
the
know,
Yeah, that
most
whole-
of
covers a lot.
Yeah.
the people that, and I do count my work
Yeah.
family in that category.
Absolutely.
So
So another question I have, now that we're talking, and we're
Mm-hmm.
getting, it's my curiosity: is there special things you do for the holidays?
yes. So during the holidays, we have a lot of churches that will do special drives for us that will do seasonal clothing. Like New Vision always does a coat drive, and we are the recipients of a huge portion of that, which is amazing because that gives us coats to pass out of all different sizes. They even have kid sizes that come
Right.
in. That's a huge blessing to us. And then around Thanksgiving, we always try to do a special Thanksgiving meal. I always try to do
Do you
something
do it
special
at
at Christmas.
Do you do it at a specific location?
We still take them out to our regular locations. We just kind of alter what we cook. First Baptist Church on Castle every year has been
Okay.
amazing about
Okay.
donating at Thanksgiving and helping us in those efforts.
Where was that address at?
It's first. There are two First Baptist churches in
Yeah.
Murfreesboro, but it's First Baptist on Castle.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Okay.
have been amazing about helping donate at Thanksgiving, and then we have tons of churches that donate at
That's perfect,
Christmas.
yeah.
But some things that would be wonderful all year long, if a church could do even a toiletry drive, because that helps us pass those
Yeah.
things out
good.
all year long. So yeah, there are definitely some seasonal things that happen, and then God just moves people's hearts in ways seasonally. I had a lady call me this past winter, and she said, "I know this is going to sound crazy to you," and I said, "No, I promise you, it won't."
Yeah.
I get these phone calls all the time. And she said, I was at Academy Sports shopping for something else, and she said, God told me to buy every sock hat,
Well, that's
every toboggan that they had in
I've
here.
seen that on
Yes.
on your website,
Yes.
and that was my next question.
And she did. She bought every one
Yeah.
that was available, and
Right.
it was just wild. But
Right.
yeah, and I said, no, I promise. I don't think that's crazy. I think that's God.
Yeah.
So,
So that is amazing what they're doing on Thanksgiving, Christmas. This talk about the light. Their organization. I feel like when you talk about them, they're the light of the community of Murfreesboro.
yes.
Do you think in the future if you expand, there's that possibility as well, right?
Yes, there is always that possibility. I mean, and with God in the driver's seat, we always try to keep Him first, and foremost
Absolutely.
with everything that we do. Very prayerful about all the steps that we take, very intentional. But yeah, we would love to be able to serve more nights a week.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful, starting here just in Murfreesboro. We'd love to expand to other areas.
Yeah.
That would be great, to have other things that we can offer. So yeah, it's a
So what? Okay, again for the listeners and viewers, how can they log on to Last Call for Grace to donate or to volunteer again? Is it the same website?
Yeah, it's last call, the number 4, grace.org is the website. And we also have a Facebook page under Last Call for Grace Ministries. You can find us there too.
We will run that tab, right, Trent?
Yeah.
We'll run that tab on
Yeah.
for everybody to go ahead and click.
Great. We would love that.
And then also, Trent, did you have your last closing? Or was
That was it. Those are mine.
Oh,
What's going right? And
Well, here's my closing.
Yeah.
I want to incorporate because this is we're both partners and with STP. And I
Yeah.
love spreading the positive. Is actually something that brought me here, and we're definitely spreading the positive now.
Yeah.
So one last thing I wanted to ask. So what brought you here is totally God and the spiritual aspect of it. Do you think that this is a ministry as well to people that are not necessarily have a relationship with God but volunteer and they don't, is kind of planting that seed for other people. So you're kind of, there's two ways here
Yes.
that these things could happen. They could donate, and then also there's a possibility that they could find a relationship with God. Is that something
Absolutely.
have you experienced through the times that you've been here?
something that I've seen.
Yeah, that's something that you have seen that changed a lot of people.
Yes, especially with the younger people that come to volunteer with us. What we find is that sometimes certain age groups are more open to the idea of serving the homeless community, but maybe they don't as strong of a relationship or no relationship with God. And it's definitely somewhere that they get introduced to that, because we pray before every time that we go out. We pray with the people while we're out, and it's I think you get a picture of a true servant's heart.
Yes.
With the people that are there.
Yes.
And the Bible says, whatever you did for least of these, you did for me.
Yes.
So I think that it's great exposure for someone that doesn't have a relationship with God, but it's also a place to serve if you just have a heart for the homeless community.
Right, absolutely.
And it's good with that particular community, because those are people that desperately need hope.
Okay.
Are you going to reach every single one, or are you going to see the fruits of that? Probably not. But you'll plant seeds.
You spark somebody's heart,
Yeah.
spark somebody's brain. Yeah.
And that's our job. Our job is just not to judge, just to be there, to show that love and that compassion and that mercy, and to plant those seeds and let God do the rest.
Well, can I say this in closing? I feel like the last call for grace is the light. I feel like their ministries I've been looking at the website, and I see amazing things that happen. I see them carrying donations, big, large checks, and being really entwined with the community with their light.
Yeah.
I feel it's a special organization, and I feel like whoever's listening and whoever's watching, it's definitely a organization that we need to pay attention to, and that we need to volunteer to and donate.
Yeah.
I want to thank you again, Rachel Wheat, for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like Trent, you feel the same way. It has her story and her, I want to say, testimony has uplifted me in my spirit today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Him as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I pray, right, and I trust in God that this is going to reach viewership that will absolutely support you and your organization.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. That's what we're praying for.
Is there any last things you want to say?
No, just that we would love to have any volunteers that would like to come and serve with us. And if you feel like God is leading you to support Last Call for Grace, we would love to have you there.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Good episode, Harry.
All right.
Open book. Open book. It's an open book.
Ask her what open book. Yeah.
We
Should I ended it saying open book or no?
No, you're
No,
fine.
we're good. Thank you for listening to another episode of Open Book with Harry Pacheco. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. We'll see you on the next one.